So there's a British politician named Nigel Farage who's in charge of the Reform Party. Now, full confession, I'm not into politics at all. I used to be this very, very pro right wing guy, but as of late, I don't think that the right is any better than the left. I inherently agree with a lot of the talking points on the right wing side, and not so much on the left wing side. But that doesn't mean that they're any better than the left wing lunatics, because there are right wing lunatics. So, point aside, Nigel Farage said something, and by the way, I don't really know what he stands for anymore with respect to reform and so on. It's probably something about saving Britain, well, whatever. He said something in an interview that humor goes a long way, which brings me to the point here. Controversial names like Donald Trump, Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, even Tucker Carlson, and other prominent voices in the sphere, let's say, where sphere really refers to those with the most attention, especially with respect to politics and so on. And again, I don't want to make this into a political podcast or any such, or talk. Excuse me. I don't want to preach the virtues of a single political direction, because I believe they ultimately blend. Here's my point, though. All of these people, they use humor in their statements. And what's so funny is they might say something outrageous and and shocking, and that make people raise their eyebrows and think, what in the world is this guy on? Why is he saying all of these horrible things? And then when confronted about it, he's usually going to double down. And when he does so, he uses humor, which sort of disarms the whole intensity. It makes it more consumable. It makes it less dangerous. It actually makes it a little bit more inviting. See, that's the brilliant point here. If you're using humor, it can go such a long way that you can even get away with saying ridiculous stuff. Because imagine this. Imagine I say something controversial, and you, the viewer, call me out on it, and I get all defensive, and I say something like, I didn't mean it like that. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I should have worded myself otherwise. No, it was never my intention to insult anybody. Ha 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 ha, and then tell some lame joke. I've immediately lost face. Nobody believes that I have a spine. But if I say something controversial and you confront me with it, and I say, oh yeah, actually I said that, and by the way, did you know something? It's actually much worse than that, because X, Y, and Z, and ha 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 ha, now I'm making a joke. Now when I'm doubling down, and I'm not afraid of telling you about my views and speaking my mind, maybe you don't like me so much. Maybe you don't like my opinions. Maybe you don't like what I stand for. But you gotta hand it to me, because I've gained a little bit more of your respect, because I refuse to budge. When people backpedal, when people say, oh no, I didn't mean it like that, I should probably word myself otherwise, and you know that they're really just scared because they're trapped in a corner or some such, do you really believe in such a person? Is that a person that you want to follow? Because, I'll be honest, it's not a person that I want to follow. It's not a person that I want to give away my attention and my money to. Because I want to follow people who are strong. I want to follow people who dare to speak up against the establishment, whoever or whatever that is. That's because I'm attracted to those people, not because I necessarily agree with everything they say and do, but because they have an attitude, a certain attitude that can be budged. It's the same thing with Candace Owens. I think that sometimes she says a lot of outrageous and wild shit. Some of it might not be true. Some of it might just be sensationalist journalism. But she refuses to budge. And that attracts me. Which brings me to the rub here. If you refuse to budge as well for what you stand for, irrespective of that is business, political orientation, or whatever, then yeah, you're going to draw critics, but they are going to respect you more. Just try it out. If you want to learn more about sales and persuasion, like, subscribe to my email list. The link to do so is in the episode description wherever you're watching and or listening to this, and I'll see you there.